Hello everyone. Today we will discuss in chapter 2 consumer equilibrium using indifference curve analysis. Under that we should know what is first utility. Utility means a power to satisfy a human want. We know that there are two approaches. One is cardinal and ordinal. Cardinal utility where the utility can be measured and it is given by Alfred Marshall and example is law of diminishing marginal utility. Whereas ordinal utility, where the utility cannot be measured but it can be compared by giving ranks, and it is given by Hicks and Allen. Example is law of indifference curve analysis. So, what is this indifference curve analysis? Indifference curve shows a combination of two goods which represents the combination of two goods which yields the same level of satisfaction. So, this approach is based on consumer behavior, that is, it is based on his preferences. Whereas in Alfred Marshall, we are talking about money matters, like we are measuring in money, monetary. Whereas here, this indifference is based on preferences. So, if a person goes into the market, he purchases more than one commodity and he is indifferent between the commodities, right? Then there are, say for example, apples and oranges, so they are giving him the same level of satisfaction. So he purchasing one apple and 15 oranges. In order to get one more apple, he has to sacrifice some of the oranges. So he is reducing the oranges to 7 and is taking one more of apple. Like that, he goes on substituting one for another commodity till he gets the same satisfaction from both. So that is called as a indifference. So indifference curve represents the combination of two goods where each point on the curve represents different combinations of two goods which yields same level of satisfaction. Now, what is indifference schedule? It is a table of various combination of two goods which yields the same level of satisfaction. Then we have budget line. Budget line is nothing but the purchasing power of the consumer. It tells you that all those combinations of two goods that the consumer can buy with given income and given prices. So in the table, the diagram it's showing the red line that is called as a budget line. And above that it is not affordable because his income is limited. And below red line this is affordable but it is underutilization of the capacity. So budget line is only that those combinations of two goods which the consumer can buy with a given income and given prices. So we know that indifference curve, indifference schedule and budget line. Next one we have the indifference map. A set of indifference curves represents the indifference map. So IC1, IC2, IC3 in the diagram shows the indifference curve. So a set of indifference curve is drawn on a map that is called as a indifference map. So we know the budget line and indifference map. We also should know the what I mean by marginal rate of substitution. Marginal rate of substitution means substituting one commodity for another. That means how much one commodity is substituted for another. Here we have seen that in the table, in order to consume one more apple, he has to forgo some three oranges. Like that, 7 he is preferring and 2. Like that, he is going on substituting, is adding one more apple and reducing the oranges. So in that way is going on substituting one commodity for another till he gets the maximum satisfaction same satisfaction from both. So MRS is nothing but MRS xy is equal to delta y by delta x, and MRS shows the diminishing rate, that is going on substituting y for x. Then assumptions. The consumer having a scale of preference. Then the price of two goods are given and constant. The income of the consumer is given and constant. Consumer is a rational man who wants to get maximum satisfaction. There is no change in taste, habits, and preference of the consumer. There is a perfect competition in the goods market. And in order to achieve the conditions of equilibrium, there are two important conditions. One is the budget line should be a tangent to the indifference curve at its minimum point. Secondly, the consumer's marginal rate of substitution must be equal to the price ratio. By taking these two conditions, we can draw the indifference curve and attains the equilibrium point. Given the consumer preferences and budget line, the consumer will be in equilibrium at point E. I'm showing in the diagram where at IC2 is the indifference curve, and also MRS xy is equal to delta y by delta x. That means he's purchasing OM of X good and ON of Y good, which gives him the same level of satisfaction at IC2 indifference curve. So this is the indifference curve analysis. Then why it is superior? Because it is based on ordinal utility, where the utility can be compared by giving ranking. That means we are giving in ranking preferences first, second, like that. Second, constant marginality of money. Here it is assumed that marginality of money is constant. And third, the price effect, the income effect, and the substitution effect are more realistically explained in this indifference curve analysis. So that is why it is superior to the law of diminishing and equimarginal. Thank you. Please subscribe.